All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 250. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. I'm here with co-host Guy, and it's quite fitting, 250th episode. It's a milestone, and I feel like yesterday was a real milestone for golf.
Yes.
It was the final day of the US Open, and what an incredible tournament.
It was indeed.
It was, it borderline, in my opinion, had everything apart from one really, really special ingredient for me. But it was almost nearly a perfect tournament.
Are you going to tell me the special ingredient now? Or we're gonna...
No, we'll hold it.
I think this tournament, and obviously, hi Rick, by the way.
Hi Guy, how are you? I'm really well.
I'm good.
We spent all day together, but hi.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we're going to come on. This is going to be very much a US Open special. Obviously, it's the day after the US Open. This will be out on the Tuesday afterwards. There's a lot to unpack, and obviously we'll talk massively about the winner, Bryson DeChambeau, and we'll also talk about Rory McIlroy. It's got to be spoken about, maybe in a bit more depth as what this near miss may actually mean moving forward, because I thought it was pivotal.
I thought it was, honestly, it was one bar. You know, we've talked about it loads on the podcast before. We're very much in the camp of the Open and the Masters being the best major tournaments. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Third place is the US Open for me, without question. This year's US Open was far better than last year's Open.
Correct.
I've said it.
Well, you have, and that's fine. I think for me, though, now I'm going to have a new mindset. There's 4 major championships, obviously, you've alluded to that. And beforehand, I get very excited for the Masters and the Open. Again, you kind of alluded to that. But actually, each event can have relatively flatter, potentially, years. And obviously, you can have other events that have an amazing year. I think going forward, I'm going to actually just look forward to them. I'm going to try all equally and then see what happens. Because this week, I was somewhat excited for it. Yeah, US Open. I watched the back 9 last night of obviously the final round, and it was the most intense golf I think I've ever seen, and the most invested I was for a long, long time. That's my only gripe with this tournament, right? I actually found it hard to watch. Hard?
Yeah, and it's wow. I understand that, because in one breath I am saying it was exciting, it was fantastic, it was amazing, it really was. But I found it hard to watch.
In a sense of the missed putts.
My heart was like pounding for the majority of the back 9. Like it wasn't a comfortable 9 holes playing Augusta, the final round of the Masters. Like there, you normally get someone bursting through the field, shooting 3 or 4 under on the back 9 and going on to win. US Open is known for being very, very difficult. Pinehurst number 2 is known for being incredibly difficult, certainly after all the changes a few years ago. It was just an unnervy watch. I could never really be comfortable. I was constantly on the edge of my seat. I was constantly like glued to it, but also like wanting it to end. However, in that breath, I also was desperate for it to be a playoff.
Really?
I really, because you had there Rory McIlroy. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, the spokesperson, the main guy for the PGA Tour. He is number 1. And obviously you got Scott Scheffler, but as a spokesman, as someone who is so outspoken for the PGA Tour, he has really put his flag on the mast of PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. On the other side, you have Bryson DeChambeau. Not that long ago, one of the most hated golfers on the planet. Mm-hmm. I think that would be fair to say.
Yeah.
How he's turned people's perception around to becoming one of the most loved golfers out on the US Open this weekend. And obviously as a live player, it's like you had the 2 of them just going at it, and it was electrifying, but so uncomfortable to watch, because you're not seeing birdies and eagles, you're seeing who can not make a bogey and who can get up and down after missing the green. I think the other thing is it's so unnerving for me, because I know playing in that situation, they're hitting these shots, these horrible little chips and just dreadful shots, and I'm looking at them going, I don't know how they're going to play this shot under this much pressure, but they obviously did. It was the putting, mainly with obviously Rory McIlroy, that let him down on the 16th when he missed that short one, on the 18th when he missed that short one. It was like devastating.
I think before we come on to Rory, we have to talk about Bryson and obviously congratulate him. I think he's doing a lot of things very well at the minute. He seems to have really turned that public perception round of people that weren't liking him with obviously signing for Liv. His YouTube channel is absolutely flying. He seems to have loads and loads of support over there.
His YouTube channel is flying.
It is.
He's one of the most, I think he is the most watched YouTube golfer right now.
And how lucky are we, think about it, that there's a professional golfer, a professional sports person, should I say, who's at the top of their game, who's just won what was, a huge event, one of the major championships, who is putting himself out there on YouTube. It is crazy, and we are lucky in golf that people are doing that.
I love the headline that someone posted, YouTuber wins US Open.
Exactly, and I think as well his passion for YouTube, he seems to be the kind of guy, obviously with his long drive and his YouTube now, and whatever it might be, he gets behind things. When he's in. And the way he celebrated, I mean, that shot, obviously on 18, that bunker shot was absolutely insane. And then to hold the putt, obviously, I know it was a long putt, but with that pressure as well was incredible. And although Rory missed that very short putt on 18, it felt like with Bryson hitting that amazing bunker shot that he won it, as opposed to Rory losing it to a degree.
To a degree.
However, I do think we need to come on to that in a moment. But an amazing event, and I think for Bryson now, there's questions being asked of, does that obviously really even more to solidify Liv, that they've got another major in kind of their arsenal. I went on Liv's social media this morning and they were massively shouting about Bryson winning, as you'd expect. Is it a hit for the PGA Tour? I mean, one thing I did see as well, the US Open themselves, they were massively actually collaborating with Liv on social posts, so they were kind of embracing them. But it was a great event, and it's got me really excited for the Open. The only downside, though, I would say, is it feels like the majors are so cramped together that come the middle of July, that's it. And it's like, right, you're waiting to the Masters again.
April to July.
Yeah.
It's really, really close together.
It is.
And I mean, like I say, the way he won, he absolutely dominated it. His Saturday round of golf was nothing short of extraordinary, albeit had a double bogey on the 17th from memory. 16th on the Saturday. He didn't have his A game on Sunday. He ended up shooting, was it 1 over his final round? He was hitting driver everywhere on that final round because apparently about 15 minutes before his tee time, he actually had to swap driver heads.
Well, I saw the clip, yeah.
I think the story of that, and he spoke quite in depth to me about it when I was over in America with him at the end of last year. He's very much all talk about bulge and roll on his driver. And basically, if a driver has been hit so hard so many times, that bulge and roll starts to flatten out for him. Okay. And he doesn't like it when his driver faces get too flat. So you saw him on just before he teed off. He had that kind of tool where he puts it on the driver face and it shows you bulge and roll of the face. And he must have been checking it and he mustn't have been comfortable. There is also rumours that it cracked, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I think it flattened out too much for him. So we had to swap drivers just 15 minutes before the tee time. And he couldn't hit that driver straight at all, could he? It was either blocking right, and when he did overdrew it. He got mega lucky on 16.
When it went down that really tight angle.
Jeez. I mean, that was like right on the edge. He got very, 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 very fortunate in a lot of his lies in the rough. Mm-hmm. I know if that was me, I would have been in every bloody bush and under every plant. I wouldn't have been able to play the shots that he played out of those situations. I actually thought Rory, again, I know we're going to probably dive into Rory a bit more. I thought his front nine was quite dreadful, really. His iron play, he couldn't hit a green, but he was getting up and down from everywhere. And then to actually, in his round of golf, get to 4 under par at one point for his round, I was like, how has he done that? And then to lose it on those last 4 holes, he had 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes, which was honestly just heartbreaking. Like I said, I feel like I'm switching between Bryson and Rory a bit too much here, but like Bryson definitely won it without question. Obviously, he had the lowest score. His golf game was extraordinary. His short game is outstanding. His putting is just different level. He really embraced the audience. He won over many, many, many fans, not only on site, but also around the world watching on TV. The fact that as he's walking around with the trophy, the US Open trophy, he wanted every fan that was there present to touch it. And I think he stood up to that word. He walked around through the crowds. He was there for 3 hours after he won it, still signing autographs, still signing, making sure all the kids. And one of the things he said in the podcast when I had him on in December was, I asked him why you're doing YouTube, and his big answer was that he wanted to motivate and encourage the next generation of golfers. He was doing that. He was doing that. There was kids that were watching him, screaming his name, telling him they subscribe to his YouTube channel, getting autographs, getting selfies. Like that, for me, as any tour pros I've possibly even ever seen. I mean, Mickelson had that kind of vibe to him when he was at his most popular. He was just embracing the audience so much, and I think it's really important for golf.
I think what a great winner. And before we mentioned about how I feel like he won it rather than Rory lost it, and kind of a weird one to say, because I feel like if on that last hole Bryson made a very normal conservative par and he hit the green in 2 and then 2 putts, it would have very much felt like Rory lost it with his tiny putt that he missed on the last hole. I think the fact that Bryson hit that such amazing shot out the bunker and then hold the putt, I think that made me feel like he won it in a sense. I don't know why, it just feels like that. But I think what I was thinking about afterwards, and certainly this morning, was that if you look at Rory McIlroy's career, nobody ever can say he hasn't been an amazing, amazing player. And he's a 4-time major champion.
But the word has then.
Well, yeah, I know. And if you look at how well he's done in majors altogether, I mean, 2022, he came second in the Masters, tied 5th at the US Open, 3rd in the Open and 8th in the PGA. Last year, he was cut from the Masters, but then came second in the US Open, tied 6th in the Open and tied 7th in the PGA. And obviously, yesterday, he came second. So he's now got 4 major wins, and he has got 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds or tied seconds. But unfortunately, and obviously, in the history books, people don't really remember second places, certainly in golf. And it got me thinking about this a bit more in the sense of when you look at the guys like Rory and compare him to an Adam Scott or a Sergio Garcia or Justin Rose, who've all been on the channel. There's a lot of golfers out there who winning a major championship feels like it's almost essential for them to kind of retire happy. And you look at a golfer like Colin Montgomery, arguably the most famous golfer ever to not win a major. Maybe Lee Westwood follows closely second. Their careers will never feel, although as good as they've been, they've missed out on that major. And you could argue in football terms, Steven Gerrard never won in the Premier League. It's the same kind of thing. When you look at a guy like, again, Adam Scott or a Sergio or Justin Rose, who've had all great careers, winning that one major was massive for them. And it really feels like they could almost retire tomorrow. They've got that major championship. I'm sure they'd love to win more, and they may well go on to win more. And then you've got guys now like Tommy, who I know he's nowhere near needing to worry about this, but Tommy Fleetwood can't not win a major in his career. He has to win a major. I think it's such an important thing for him to do. But when you look at Rory now with 4 major wins, that's incredible. Of course it is. But he hasn't now won one for 10 years. And how many are slipping away and sliding away? Now, you may say another one will come. Will it? I don't know. Possibly, and you think it will do. But even if it does, even if Rory wins one more and gets to 5, brilliant. But when you then look at the list of major winners and you look at the guys who've got serious major championships, Jack Nicklaus, 18, obviously, Tiger Woods, 15, Walter Hagen, 11, Ben Hogan, 9, Gary Player, 9, Tom Watson, 8. And then we can even look at Nick Faldo, again, been on the channel, 6-time major champion. Phil Mickelson, 6-time major champion. They're the names that Rory should be mixing with. Rory, in my opinion, should be going down as a legend of the game, as a Tom Watson with 8 majors. Every one of these second places that slips him by is another one that he's not winning. Is he going to get to that number where he should be? He shouldn't be retiring on 4 majors or even 5. It should be the 8s or the 9s or even the 10s. Is he not fulfilling his potential?
I honestly feel this was his biggest chance in recent times.
Well, it was a 3-foot putt, wasn't it, essentially?
Like, I can't remember a time when he's been closer to winning a major. Obviously, he was leading going into the 150th Open at St Andrews, but then you obviously had Cameron Smith come from nowhere and put his lights out and win it outright. When McIlroy got tied with Bryson and he was a hole ahead, I never really thought, or he actually went a shot clear, or did he go 2 shots clear? I still didn't think he was going to do it. There was just something in me was like, I don't think this is going to end like this. I don't think Rory is going to par in and win this tournament. which is crazy to say because it's Rory McIlroy. He has every shot in the bag. He is undoubtedly one of the most talented golfers that have ever walked the planet. Yet he's got a 2-shot lead or a 1-shot lead with 3 or 4 holes left to play, and I wasn't convinced he was going to win it. And it's mind blowing. If that was a normal tournament,
yeah,
I think he would have won it.
Yeah,
I think if that was a normal PGA Tour event, he would have won that event. It's the fact it was a major, and that must go through his head. He had that putt on 16, a 3-footer, and there was a start. He'd not missed. He'd holed 494 feet, 494 3-foot putts in a row or something like that during this season. Mm-hmm. That's the first one he missed. And then to go on and not get up, I thought it was a stupid club decision on 18. I know Nick Faldo was talking about it on the commentary. I don't think he should have hit driver. He hit 3-wood every day. He hit driver into the rubbish. He left it short of the green, didn't get up and down. Like, I don't know. A lot, and I've never been in this camp, but there's a lot of talk online today about whether it is time to get a new caddy. And I've never been in that camp. I've never been in it. But when you look at those decisions coming down the stretch, is it time for him to get a more experienced caddy on the bag?
Maybe, and I'm certainly not qualified to make that judgment, I don't believe. But when you think about what a caddy does, if you look at where he has, look at the last number of years as where he's finishing major championships, these seconds, these tied seconds, these thirds, these millions of top tens, is it the caddy that's going to move that little bit more, or does that come down to bottle? Certainly, a caddy can certainly give you confidence and try and take your mind off it and relax you and put you in a good headspace. But surely when you get yourself to those places like that, which is just knocking that short putt on the last hole, the caddy can't hold your hand. The caddy can't hit the putt for you. It comes down to you and what's in between the ears.
What are they saying to him in that moment in time? Like when you look at someone like Ted Scott, who's won so many major tournaments, not only with Scotty Scheffler, but also with Bubba Watson, they must be saying something that's helping that player stay calm in that time period.
But I'd put that more down to like sports psychologists that you see and stuff. The caddy is there, obviously we know, more than just to carry the golf bag. But if that caddy is giving you the right advice all week to get you hitting the golf ball well and in the right places and helping you get into that top 5, that top 10, that first place, surely then it comes down to you doing it. I don't know. As I said, it'd be great to hear some advice off a caddy, maybe.
I mean, I'd genuinely, I'd love. Unfortunately, we've not managed to get him on the channel yet. I would love to get Rory on the channel. I'd love to talk to him about all of this. I'd love to get him on a 10-shot challenge. I'd really, and we're a good luck charm. You see what's happened with the players we've had on the channel so far? They go on to win. They go on to win. It's just that's how it happens here on the Rick Shiels Golf Show. The other thing I was going to say is he's got a lot of things going on in his life, hasn't he, Rory, at the moment? Well,
he was obviously, it was well known he filed for divorce. Apparently that isn't happening now, which is great, and he's still with his wife, etc. But what I thought was really kind of telling, and again, I don't want to overread things and make a big deal out of it than it was, but when he was in that, I think it was the scorer's room, or that little bit where the camera was on him eating the protein bar, that kind of image has gone a bit viral of him with his kind of hat half up and his hand on his waist. He looked absolutely broken, and you can understand why. He just 3-putted the last hole and you've lost the championship.
Well, 2-putted last hole.
Sorry, 2-putted the last hole. Missed a small
putt.
No, was it? Where did? Oh, chipped on, didn't he? Sorry. He chipped on, and then he missed that putt. That's going to have an effect. And when it was such a moment that I think for Rory, he's the kind of player, I think if he does win another major, then it unlocks a key and he just can win so many more. But will he get that next one?
That might have been his biggest chance, honestly.
If someone had said to me before this weekend that Rory will never win a major again, and I could bet on it, I'd be like, no way. Like what? Like there's no way I'm going to bet on that. Like now it's kind of like, is he going to win it? What I think we almost think sometimes with the majors that because there's 4 a year, and obviously if a player's fit, they might play another 10, 15 years. There's so many chances. But as I've said before, there's always new kids on the block. There's always one guy who plays amazing. There's always these kind of guys who's consistent. They're always up there. You have to obviously be firing on all cylinders against the best field, having the best week ever, and everything going your way. And if you're in that spot and still, like, no way Scotty Scheffler would have missed that putt. I don't know. It's interesting. And again, when you look at this list of major championships, and I know it depends on what you measure it off. If you're just going off majors, then this is the list you have to go off. But if you look at the list on something like a Wikipedia of the names who've won the most majors, the Jack Nicklaus, the Tigers, the Ben Hogans, the Gary Players, Tom Watson, etc., etc., it kind of feels like that's where, I mean, maybe I'm speaking as it's my generation, but where Rory deserves to almost live.
Does.
With Phil Mickelson, with Nick Faldo, both 6-time major champions. If Rory doesn't get any more majors, then he's not sitting with those guys. He's not at that table.
I mean, is he tied now? Is he tied with Brooks?
Brooks has got 5. Brooks has beaten him.
Oh, God.
Because that was the big thing, obviously, in Netflix, wasn't it? So he's tied with Ernie Els. Now, maybe it's my era, although I remember, obviously, Ernie Els massively and was a big fan. People might shoot me down for this, I would class Rory as being more of a legend than Ernie Els, personally. Maybe it's the Ryder Cup blurring my vision, etc.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair... I think for influence on the game, I think that would be fair.
And if you're going off major championships, they're both on 4.
Wow.
And even if you're going off... I mean, again, I know Seve was before our time, an absolute legend of the game. Seve's on 5. So Seve has obviously got more majors, won more majors, as did obviously Mickelson on 6. Faldo on 6, Trevino on 6. I mean, these are absolute legends, don't get me wrong, but that is the kind of place where it feels like Rory, when he does. And he might win another 4, he might win another 10, hope he does. But it doesn't really feel like he's where he should be right now.
You know what's mad? Just looking at the stats here, obviously, Jack Nicklaus is famous for winning 18, and this stat's been thrown around loads, but some more interesting ones. Jack Nicklaus has come second 19 times.
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson, 12 times.
That's crazy.
Arnold Palmer, 10 times. Sam Snead, 8 times. Greg Norman, 8 times. Tom Watson, 8 times. Tiger Woods, 7 times. It's like you look at... You've got to come second a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
If you are contending, you're going to come second a lot. It's just at the moment, it feels like Rory's getting too many close calls and not enough
also,
over the line.
I think it's the fact of the length between wins as well. And also, if he'd have had years... So he's obviously not won now for 10 years a major. But he has been obviously competitive and he's been at the top of his game for the most of that 10 years since. He's had some obviously slightly weaker spells. But at least out of the 4 majors a year, he's come top 10 in at least one every single year. And obviously there's some years he's come... 2022 came top 10 in all 4 majors. Other years he's came top 10 in 3 or 2, whatever. So he's been there and thereabouts. That's the weird thing.
Imagine if he'd won 4 majors like he has done, but those 4 majors have been spaced out a bit more.
Yeah, every 3 years he wins one. Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, he's going to win. He's due. Rory McIlroy wins 1 in 12 majors. The fact he's not won one now in 1 in 40.
And also if he'd have had that spell like he had, but then he was injured, God forbid, or he just completely fell off form or something, you'd kind of get it. But
he's been world top 5 for forever, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I can't recall a moment in time when he was outside the top 5.
That might tell me now.
But yeah, it was... So, my only gripe... This is my... I actually thought the golf course was too hard. And I know it's US Open. There was, for me, a tough, challenging, difficult golf course should be one where you hit it offline and you get in trouble, or you don't hit it quite long enough and you get in trouble. There were so many times where quite literally near perfect shots would end up in the most horrendous spots ever. And that for me, I was like, I don't know if I'm loving it. However, the feedback from the players, they absolutely loved the golf course. So maybe that was just me as a viewer. I do prefer seeing birdies over bogeys. I just do. Like the fact that the winning score was only 6 under par, I would much prefer personally as a viewer, and I know people are different in this. I know a lot of fans like watching tour pros struggle. I would always rather have a tournament that finished 20 under than just 6 under.
Really?
Personally, for myself, yeah.
See, I think you get that most weeks. I think that's why the majors, certainly the US Open and the Open, are different, because I know you can have an Open where they shoot crazy numbers if it's like St Andrews, but I think that's where it feels like it is more of a test, isn't it? And it's that special. US Open's renowned for it. I think, I don't even know what the event is next week or the week after, but I'm sure they'll be back to shooting crazy numbers again.
I don't know what it is. I also weirdly don't like seeing when the players look like they are not enjoying it. And maybe that's what some viewers of our channel sometimes say when I'm not enjoying it. But maybe when I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's all right. Don't worry, you'll get up and down. Like, I just found it. I looked at the course. I was like, I wouldn't like to play that golf course. It looks far too difficult.
Yeah,
like, there was a par 4 at 540
it's crazy,
yards.
isn't it?
Anyway,
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I just think it's, again, I know everybody is dogs and we talk about Rory, and obviously I'm Bryson, rightly so, but it shocked me a little bit that it did. It kind of like, I don't know why it did, because maybe I should have almost seen it coming, but I thought he was going to win that. I knew he didn't. I kind of felt like he would.
I really wanted. The thing is, as well, I think I saw a few comments on my Instagram yesterday. I shared a picture of me and Bryson. There's a lot of comments going, "Oh, how can you not be supporting Rory?" I do support Rory, and I do want him to win. But I also support Bryson.
It was a win-win, because if Rory wins, brilliant. He gets that kind of duck. What's the duck off his? That's not the right. What's the?
I like duck off his back.
Is that a phrase?
Camel off his foot.
Is that a phrase?
Pigeon off his shoulder.
Yeah. We'll go with that. I guess the pigeon off his shoulder. And if obviously Bryson wins, which he then did, it's exciting. Sorry, my chair's going down. It's exciting, and yeah, it was a win-win. Sorry, moving my chair, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Sorry.
There was two big shout outs. Sorry, just very quickly. How good is Ludwig Åberg?
Very good.
And I know he didn't quite, unfortunately, he had a triple bogey on I think it was the 15th or 14th on the Saturday, and then didn't quite set the world alight on Sunday. But this is only his third ever major tournament. He came second in the Masters. He did incredible at the PGA. Did he come top something?
He got caught at the PGA.
Oh, he did terrible at the PGA. And he was kind of knocking at the door.
Tied 12th in this one.
But he was knocking at the door up until that triple bogey on the Saturday. Everyone that seems to play with him raves about him like crazy. He doesn't look like he's got a weakness in his game. He's one of my favourite players to watch. His swing is just ridiculous as well, isn't it?
It brings very nicely, Rick, onto your favourite things. So recently you have done your Rick's rankings of your top 5 courses that will be going onto YouTube on the One Club. Okay. So can you remember the top 5 courses that you chose?
No.
Okay. So you have to tell me why. I'll read these top 5 courses out to you, Rick, and you have to tell me why they are your 5 top courses. One of them's a little bit controversial. There's also on the One Club, which some of you might have signed up to, of the big competition we had last week. There's going to be your battle golf, Rick. So people can see you battling out against some of your friends and foes on the One Club. However, your top 5 golf courses, Rick, in at number 5, TPC Sawgrass. Elaborate. I
mean, it's just an unbelievable golf course. It's pristine, it's tough, it's iconic. There's not a blade of grass out of place. Every hole is different. From the very first hole all the way to 18, it's a test of every part of your golf. I've played well around there twice. One was actually documented. The other was documented, but unfortunately got lost, as people know. Sawgrass is just out of this world. Okay, number 4, you've got your friend and mine, the old course at St Andrews. And then it's just iconic, innit? It's history, it's heritage, is it the best golf course in the world? Or even top 5 as an actual golf course? If you took that out of St Andrews and put it somewhere else, no. But in St Andrews, the town, the vibe, the atmosphere, the nerves you feel on the first tee shot. Once you played 1 and 2, kind of between 3 and 16 are somewhat okay holes. You come back round to 17, unbelievable hole, a par 4 over the hotel, and the iconic 18th hole. If you could play just those 4 holes on loop, I'd be a happy man forever. Okay. In at number 3, Kings Barnes. This is just the views alone make this golf course amazing. A bit similar to Sawgrass in my description is that every single hole is different. And it's really funny with Kings Barnes. Like, you get hit by the incredible views on the 3rd hole and you're like, wow, that's amazing. The views just keep getting better and better and better and better all the way around to the 16th hole, 15th hole, which is the famous par 3. and it's just like, oh my God, you're just in awe. Your mouth starts to open on the third hole, and it's quite literally dragging along the floor. Your chin's dragging along the floor by the time you get to the 15th.
Is that why you do that when you're walking in normally? Catching flies.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
Number 2. This is the somewhat controversial one. Trump International.
I mean, it is good. It is. I know I know there's politics and all that jazz, and we've got a huge US audience, but Trump isn't only political in the US, it's all around the world. But it's Trump International is just unbelievable. It's every single hole is its own amphitheatre. It's on this incredible patch of land near Aberdeen, and every single hole is like, you don't see any other hole. Like you're on your hole, and it's massive sand dunes. We need to film there one day. I've played there a couple of times, but never actually properly filmed there. These massive sand dunes, and you're literally playing the hole, and you're like, I could be anywhere in the world right now. And it's like you play one incredible hole, you cut through onto the next tee by this beautifully manicured fairway strip, and you get onto the next tee, and it just smacks you in the face, and it's like, wow, every single hole is amazing. And you know what? Credit where credit is due. I've played about maybe 4 or 5 Trump courses now. Every single one of them is outstanding.
Yeah, fair dues. In at number 1 is...
Your favourite of mine.
Yeah.
It's Augusta National. I mean, listen, not many people get to play it. I appreciate that. It is pretty much everybody's bucket list golf course, and it did not disappoint. It's the fact that you know the golf course before you've ever even played it. If you've watched a number of years of the Masters, you know you've got the iconic 12th, the par 3, you know you've got the iconic 16th, you've got the 13th, the par 5 round the corner. Like every hole, you're like, oh God, this happened there and that happened there, and remember when Bubba Watson hit out the trees here, or this is where Tiger Woods chipped in from, or this is where Mickelson hit it from the pine straw, or you're just playing this golf course quite literally in awe, and it is perfect. Now, what's funny is a lot of my other golf courses that I've really liked, a lot of it is not only the golf course, but the scenery as well.
Yeah.
Augusta does not have scenery.
No.
It's not like you see in the ocean. It's not like you see in the mountains. It's just surrounded by huge trees, but it's its own gallery. Like you're in that zone. You can't imagine 2 minutes outside the gate, you're in a built-up industrial area, which just doesn't seem real. You get into the gates of Augusta, and it's quite literally a paradise.
You know what? Look, so this is your Rick's Rankings, obviously done in collaboration with the One Club, and you are going to be doing some more of these, going to feature on some YouTube videos, etc., with the One Club, and we're going to maybe do this a little bit more regular, this kind of feature. Looking at your courses, I'm going to critique a little bit. I get it. There's some great golf courses on there. Augusta National, Count Moan, Kings Barnes, the Old Course, Sawgrass, Trump International, great golf courses. But I feel like you're missing a little bit of like an old school one, someone that's doing like a really cool top 5 courses, someone that's as well travelled as you.
I know.
It should be like, in at number 1 is Old Tom's Creek. And what is that? It's like, oh, it's this private course. You have to go on a camel and a boat and then knock 3 times, and then you post a little pound into a letterbox, and then an old woman lets you on, and some random thing like that.
I think now I've done the major ones in that category. I think give it another 5 or 6 years, and I've been a few more different places. You're right. I think my top 5, a bit like, you know, when you first get into beer.
Oh, what were we going to say here?
Not sure.
Because my next question was going to be, and maybe it can link into this. It's all well and good doing your Rick's Rankings with the One Club, with the Iron Ale, prim and proper. I want to hear your top 5 drinks, alcoholic. However,
that's random. Well, I've just said
I know,
that then.
but not necessarily in the sense of, oh, I like this, I like that. You've also got to give me the vibe as well. So I want to hear, like, let's just say, I don't know if this is the case or not, number 1 might be, after a round of golf, you're a bit tired, sit down, a nice cold Guinness, it's just crisp. That might be number 1. Number 2 might be the vodka Red Bull at a wedding at 1:30 in the morning. Give me your top 5 drinks, but also the situations that they go into.
What I was going to say about the beers a minute ago, a bit like the golf courses though, your taste changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, fair.
And I think once you've established like the cool drinks, you start to go, oh, yeah, but I don't want just the cool
You're
drinks
in the mainstream
anymore.
cool at the minute, aren't you? You're not quirky cool.
No, I'm not at all. I don't know if I've ever been quirky cool. Okay, top 5 drinks. They're quite
and
simple.
The situation, though.
Oh,
Give me the situation. Number 5.
Well, I'm not technically drinking right now. I'm actually alcoholic free.
All right. Alcoholic free. Since when?
Alcohol free. Since the wedding.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, the wedding was, a
few weeks ago now.
Give me number 5 then. If you were drinking. and the situation.
It's quite a tough one.
We're going to start in the top one. And
Okay, no, go on. After a round of golf, okay,
Yeah.
Love something refreshing, something light, like a Corona.
Pints of vodka.
Depends how I've played. Like a Corona with a slice of lime, perfect.
Yeah, okay,
That's
that's
like my
number
perfect
5.
Number 5,
Yeah.
summer's day. If I am on a bit of a sesh,
Yeah.
okay, it's an all-day drinking session on Guinness.
Yeah,
just
standard.
all day, every day.
Okay.
Drink it all day, every day. That's what I should have done at the wedding. Number 3 is if I need a bit of a pick-me-up, you're right, I'm all over vodka, double vodka Red Bulls.
Yeah, okay.
Little pick-me-up.
That might be a bit of a Myesco reunion. It's getting to 9:30 at night.
But even if sometimes, let's say you've had a really busy day out on the golf course, but you've got an evening meal that night. Or
Little Voddy Red, then.
just like a little pick-me-up.
Wow.
My go-to drink at home, if I'm just literally... Weirdly, I drink this sometimes when I'm at home or on my own. I love a Jack Daniels and Coke.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of a Jack Daniels
Yeah.
and Coke. And then last but not least, and this is
Can I
definitely...
guess what it's going to be?
It's red.
Chateau Neuf de Pape.
Yep. And that again is a bit like my explanation of golf courses. Like back in the day, anything wet and red would have done.
Yep. Wow.
As you
Yeah,
get,
keep it PG. Come on.
as you start to taste a few more things that are wet and red, you get to go, oh, actually, I quite like that one a bit more than that one.
Yeah.
And then they're my top 5 drinks.
And the situations.
Yeah, that's
Very
what I said
good.
about. And
Yeah.
currently, however, though, I've got into a new drink. Okay.
Go on.
This is not a sponsored shout out. It's Desperado.
Yep.
You know, the alcoholic beer.
Correct.
They do a 0.0 beer.
Right.
And it's lime and lemon flavour. I've had to import it from abroad because currently don't sell it in the UK. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. In fact, I could drink that for the rest of my life. And you know what? What's mad? It's a bottle, but it's a 400ml bottle.
Wow, a bit
Quite
more.
big. Yeah, it's good. I
Wow.
like it.
Well, we've got an exciting week, Rick, because we are heading down. We think we touched on this last week when we talked about the Titleist GT drivers. Heading down to Woburn, and you're going to get fitted for the new GT driver. And obviously that will then be the one that you will use for the review, which will come whenever that is allowed to come in a couple of months, I believe. Excited to see what that's like. We did touch on this, the fact that Titleist have had a few good drivers recently. They had a bit of an off spell before that. You are a guy, you won't mind me saying, who has been toying with a few drivers. You've currently got this Cobra in the bag, it's a bit more forgiving. I don't think that's going to last, if I'm telling you the truth. I think your Ping was in there. You had the nice, reliable partner with that driver. I won't say wife or husband. You had the nice, reliable partner that was lovely, did everything for you, was there through thick and thin. You then started to look left and look right at a new model, didn't you?
What a bit of
Curves in
excitement.
all the right places.
Gave me a little bit of that extra speed.
Bit of a stiffer shaft it gave you.
Yeah.
Too far. And now you've realised, actually, no, you didn't want that younger model anymore. But your trusty partner wife has moved on. She ain't coming back to you now. So you've had to go for something different again. It's not the one. You've met on Tinder. You've been lonely. You've got this little partner. It's not going to last, Rick. Let's just cut it out now. Let's just say it was fun while it lasted, and let's get you a driver that you can have a nice, happy marriage with for a long time. That's got core values that align with you.
So do you think that's the Titleist?
Honesty. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I just can't see this Cobra lasting. However, I hope it treats you well next week for open qualifying.
Yeah. The Titleist looks incredible.
It does.
I've got open qualifying next week.
Yeah. So how's trading going?
Well, so I have genuinely been practicing a lot. Certainly my short game.
Mm-hmm.
We went and played at Royal Liverpool last week
Yeah.
off camera
I did 5 holes.
with your friend of mine, James Robinson. He's bloody good, James.
He is good. Yeah.
I was beating him through 5 though.
Good.
So I birdied 5. Do you remember?
Yes, I did 4. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that's good. Birdie that. As a team, we might have beaten him. I was doing really well front 9, and then just hit 1 or 2 bad shots, and I lost my head. You know what's really? This is important, right? And a topic I want to bring up on the podcast. Do you ever think about your nutrition out on the golf course? What you're drinking, what you're eating?
No.
I don't even one bit.
No. I wouldn't. No.
James was saying, like, I had a bit of a bad hole around the 13th and 14th, and he said to me, I was kind of asking him, why do I do that? Because I feel like I do that a lot. He said, well, how much have you drank? And I literally, out my bag, I took out a bottle of water that I bought in the pro shop that I'd not even opened. So I'd not touched a drop of water in that time frame. Had a bacon barn, which is an amazing bacon barn, by the way, after 9 holes. And he said, just like what he does, he'll have a Lucasade and a water in the front 9, a Lucasade and the water in the back 9. And he should nibble a lot.
Yeah.
And I must admit, when you look at Tour Pro, they're
yeah.
always nibbling, aren't they? Aren't they?
Yeah.
They're never eating a bacon butty or a sausage roll.
No. And what is that about? Concentration, dehydration?
Correct. I often feel, I get to a point in a round of golf and it's like I can feel my energy levels just going. Do you when you go like 10% mode on your phone?
Yeah. I get it, but I would say when we went to Dubai, for example, we drank a lot of water on the golf course because it was so hot.
But that's the thing.
Still not enough.
But I think you have to drink a lot of water when you're
True.
in Dubai. Do you know what I mean? You almost force yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of times in Dubai where I played quite well, even when I was like forcing my water down.
So do you think then open qualifying on Monday, you can have a few Desperado 0-0? I'm walking around with a big Despy. 400 mil.
I'm out at 12:50. This was something I was going to run past you and probably should have done it not on podcast. Should we do a podcast that morning?
I'm happy to do a podcast that morning. Are you? Podcast after the round?
Well, I was thinking, why don't we do a podcast in the morning?
Yeah.
Record it, how I'm feeling, and then we record a podcast straight after.
Yeah.
And maybe we put the two things together.
Well, have you ever seen those videos online where someone goes, I'm Rick, this is my first beer. And it's like, I'm Rick, this is my 17th beer. They're like, hi, yeah, welcome back to the podcast, everyone, episode 252, And then we come back like, what do you shoot, Rick? 86. That'll be really good. No, but that'll be a great idea.
Should we do that next week?
That'll be very good. And also what's exciting is now you've committed to it. If it doesn't come out, people will know why. If it does come out, you've played well. Or either way.
I was thinking, because I'm not out till 12:50, okay, at Caldy. If anyone wants to come and watch, feel free to come and watch.
Do you want people to come and watch?
Well, I can't.
No, but
stop it.
No, you can't stop it. You can't have bouncers, but do you want people to come watch? 'Cause that's different. And if you want to come watch, you can, or you can actively invite people.
I think there's two things I've thought about this, right? If 5 people come and watch, okay, I'm going to be as nervous with 5 people as I will be with 100 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I know it.
I find that hard to believe.
I genuinely, for me, it doesn't matter if it's 5 people or 100 people. It doesn't matter if it's 100 people or 5,000 people.
Hand on heart then, when we did the opens, stuff with Good,
yeah,
and there was loads of people, that would have been the same if there was only 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
But after the first shot, I'm so much more chilled. My other theory, okay, hear me out. If I've got 100 people, surely I can't lose a ball.
That's a good shout. And you can hit them off people's heads, off the post.
And if I get them to like surround the greens, I can, a bit like Good.
And I'm not saying you don't want to have fallback plans. If you do happen to play badly, it's a big if. Yeah, but I had 100 people watching.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse as well.
So if you want to come along, bring a friend,
merrier.
bring 2 friends. I just thought, you know what? I might as well do. Genuinely, I will be same amount of nerves with 10 people, 5 people than 100 people, 10,000 people.
Wow.
I don't think because let's say when we've done our live podcasts, what was the last one? 500 people.
I don't think it's quite that many, but we have done it. There was a couple hundred.
But let's say that was 5,000 people. Would you have felt any different?
Maybe not.
But what's the tipping point? 5 people?
I think I would rather hit. So let's just say we're at the TPC Stadium course on the 17th, isn't it, the par 3?
Yeah.
I'd rather hit a shot in front of 5 people that just watching me than that whole thing full. New.
But if that was the first shot of the round, yes. But if you'd got used to that by the 17th, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, but will I get used to it? I think 5,000 people
by
watching.
17th. Yeah.
Well, it was okay. Well, that's
anyway,
great.
I am genuinely. If you want to come. You can help me look for my golf ball.
I know it'll be very good. It's exciting, and as we said, obviously it'd be amazing if you have a great round and got through. The real goal is, can you break 75 in open qualifying with that little bit more pressure, with people watching and walking round? I'm excited to say, I genuinely, I've hand on heart now, I wouldn't be surprised if he shot 72. Wouldn't be surprised if he shot a bigger number. I feel like I don't know, which is exciting. I think that's why it's going to be a good video. I really feel like I'm getting somewhere with my driver. Just one consistent shot shape. I feel like my putting's very good. I feel like my short game has shown glimpses of brilliance. Not all the time, but glimpses. And as long as I can hit greens, I'm fine. Flying.
Easy.
You know what's weird about golf? When you think about it, you can make it sound so easy, can't you? You say, right, the 17th at the old course famous, so you just got to hit it over the hotel, and then you just need to hit one to the right side of the green and miss the road hole bunker, and then just 2 putts, take walk away with your par. How easy does that sound?
So easy.
But in reality, it's hit it into the hotel, as I've done before, then hit it miles left, and come off with an 8. But I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but...
I need to get out my own way. That's my plan on Monday. Just get out my own way. I'm going to try and hit everything really hard. So otherwise, I think I just like steer it around.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Shall you tell me more about this round on Friday in the Clubhouse episode?
I'd love to.
Because also I could do the wee really quickly. So I could go for a wee and we could come back into the Clubhouse.
Guys, we'll see you again Friday after Guy's been for a week.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.